Thank you very much for the invitation. I came gladly. I have great friends here, and thank you very much for this. We are seeing very exciting times. In the Committee of the Regions, we have more than 700 leaders from all across who are spending a lot of their times for day-to-day crisis management and more thinking. In the past 5 years, it seems, crisis after crisis, that it was a training season, an exercise. So we arrived to this moment in the world today where we see an amalgam of all the crises. It's like from the Greek mythology, it's the chimera, with the head of the lion and the tail of the snake, with the fire coming out. So it is the amalgam of all the things we fear. We arrive today. So we do a lot of thinking, because we have to understand what we see. And there is a law in thermodynamics that all complex systems goes from order to disorder if there's not enough energy in the system to keep the order. It is true for everything we see. It is true for democracy, it is true for marriages, and it's true for human-made institutions. It's also true for the European Union. Too many crises are shaking the system. It's clear we need more energy to keep the order. What is energy? We need more money, that's clear, but everybody knows that. Every leader, every business, too many things we have to solve. Clearly we need more money on all levels. That's our everyday. But that's not all. Energy is not just money. Energy is the energy of every individual, every single leader who takes responsibility. I always say that we don't claim local leaders to be at the table because we want to be at the table. It's because this is the time when you need all the energy, the ambition, the innovation capacity, the responsibility, the thinking capacity of all the leaders you have from the smallest towns, the big cities, the regions, the national level, the European level. All of this energy, thinking capacity, innovation capacity is needed. It is so clear that the future is too uncertain to have an idea how to make anything future-proof. This is what we know for sure. When we see the growing anxiety on all levels in our ecosystems, our citizens, business, leaders, what is anxiety? Anxiety is when you have no idea what is happening tomorrow. Too many possibilities. What do you do in these days to lower anxiety? You need stabilizers in the system. You need to make decisions, you need people who make responsibility, you need those who have the ambition to take decision and lower anxiety and bring more stability. I always argued that the cohesion policy of the European Union is not an investment tool, is the most important stabilizing tool of the European Union. This is why the future of cohesion policy is so important in times of crisis. But also, we are talking about competitiveness, we are talking about how we can be similar to other, like China and USA. But the biggest strength of the European Union is that it's diverse. And what I learned from biology, is that when the future is very uncertain, when there are a lot of possibilities, the more diverse ecosystem you have, the biggest chance you will have that you will find a solution that will work for that tomorrow. So in the European Union, we need to invest in this diversity. It's important that we find different paths for our communities. Sergio was talking about the freedom to stay. It's super important. We have municipalities, communities, towns that have thousands of years of past, of history. People were living there 4,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago. We want these communities to have a future. Who has the biggest ambition to give a future for their community? It is those who live there, those local leaders who will find a path. Also, Professor Asamoglu likes to go into, he uses the story of the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland. Very exciting story. It's the second book, when Alice goes through the mirror, the looking glass, and arrives to a world, and she meets the Red Queen. And the Red Queen says, here you have to run as fast as you can just to stay in one place. This is what we feel. This is what our citizens feel. And a lot of people are very, very tired. They cannot run in the same pace. So it is our role, leaders on all levels, to find a path, find a pace that works for most of our communities. I already talked to you about the role of cohesion policy being the most important stabilizing tool, and it has to stay this most important stabilizing tool. Sometimes we call it a glue. This is how we glue together the European Union. But for the EU to stay together, it needs many dimensions of gluing. It's not just territorial gluing, it's social gluing, but it has to be a long-term glue. Why is it important? Because as more and more problems occur, we were talking about all the crises, all the waves we see, there is a strong temptation to use the long-term glue and to fix short-term things, okay? Not because anybody's stupid, no, because nobody has enough money, okay? Nobody has enough money. So when you don't have money, you look around and, okay, what can I use? I use the problems of tomorrow to fix problems of today. But that is tricky, because if you transform too much long-term glue into short-term glue, the whole system will collapse. So what do? We have all these dilemmas. We have a lot of problems now. We have a lot of problems tomorrow. What is the balance? We ask for a lot of flexibility. But you know, too much flexibility, it brings chaos. Too much stability, the system becomes super rigid. So it's all the time, it's always about balance. So what we see, we have no idea what the European Commission will put down on the table. We see all the dilemmas we're facing. We talk a lot about competitiveness, but we learned that everything has a price. There's no such thing that everything will be better and it has no price. Okay, what is the price of competitiveness? For competitiveness, you need deregulation. But to understand the complexity of our systems, you need regulation. Competitiveness means that there is a toigetos, that only the fittest survive. But we say we leave nobody behind. Competitiveness means that you have to focus investments, huge investments, in a few fields, especially when it comes to technology. But we want the cohesion policy to work for everyone and glue everyone together. So there are a lot of dilemmas. There's no right or wrong. The whole leadership is about balancing. And we talked yesterday with the mayor of Sofia about, do we believe in heroes? I believe in heroes. All of our human history and story is about we are watching heroes. Because what do heroes do? They try to reach the unreachable star. What is today's hero story when it comes to climate, energy, goals in Europe? We have this mission, the 100 climate neutral city mission. We have mayors who said they try to make the impossible, to become climate neutral by 2030. It seems impossible because you have so many things to do. Use less energy, emit less CO2, produce your own energy. You want to be efficient, cheap, but you want to be safe. You want to prepare for a lot of water, not enough water, for floods, for droughts, for preserving rainwater. You want to have the city that holds everything. You want to have more houses, but you want to have more parks. You want to have more sustainable, affordable urban transport. You want to have citizens of tomorrow, but you see also that you have citizens 65 plus with a lot of different needs, a lot of different use for the city. You have so many things. Okay, what are these people doing, these heroes? They try to make the impossible possible. Why is this important? Because many of them actually can. This is why we watch the Olympic Games. We see humans exceeding all expectations, putting in a lot of energy and pushing limits no one ever did before. Why is it important for others? Because this is how we work, humans. We watch these stories. We watch other people's success. We watch other people's failure. We learn from it. And if we see something is possible, then we try. We know that we cannot, the same thing won't work for Sofia and Budapest, that works for Barcelona, that works for Madrid, that works for Helsinki. But we know it's possible. So we will do everything in our power to try to make it possible for our own community. So this is why these missions and hero stories are important. Thank you very much.